What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Kicks and Picks podcast. Scott, Nick, and I here, along with Oaks, back as our guest for the second consecutive week. This guy's so hot, we had to bring him back again. So, Oaks, how you doing tonight? Sorry about Real Madrid last week, but the rest of your bets were pretty darn good.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely doing well. Had a nice little kind of afternoon today. I actually really stayed away from like the 3 o'clock and later kickoff games. I was feeling kind of, I was feeling just a little bit crappy. I call it the Call of Duty flu. I was staying up a little late with my cousins playing some Search and Destroy, playing a little COD, so a little Black Ops 6. So I did need a nap. My best bet of the day today was Busio shot on target, and that hit as well. So I definitely like that. I did look pretty stupid, but I think we all looked pretty stupid in that Juve Inter game. Nobody saw 8 goals coming there.
Yeah.
Juve defense looks kind of disastrous, and I know we're going to talk about it here later in the show when we get to Serie A, but some really good numbers on Juve and goals going on there. I also looked kind of, I don't want to say stupid. I was wrong about the under in Pool versus Arsenal, but I can take solace in the fact that both teams scored 2 goals. Arsenal put 4 shots on target, and Pool put 3 shots on target. When you convert it a 2/3 clip or a 50% clip on your shots on target into goals, that'll happen. The draw was a runner, though. The draw no bet, you got your push on. Pool stood on their business and did end up, I don't want to say looking like the better team, but they got the result that favors them more. A point away at the Emirates is what they were after. So, again, it could have been a winnable game. I was surprised to see Saka play. He did play well. He didn't look to still be banged up. So I guess you can kind of hang your hat on that. And the last thing I'll finish with is, Madrid lost. It happens. Mbappe looked like absolute dog shit. I kind of wanted him subbed off for Endrick or something going on there. Guy couldn't stay on sides. Look, anytime Barcelona beats Madrid, that's all you're going to hear about in the news. I already see it. Like, don't get me wrong. I call Arsenal fans toxic on Twitter all the time. There is absolutely nothing more toxic than Madrid fans after they lose a big game like that. That's on right. Twitter. All of a sudden, Don Carlo needs to be fired again. If you guys will remember, the last time we lost to Barcelona like this, they were calling for Don Carlo's head. Then we won La Liga and we won the UCL that year. And since he's done both of those things twice, the Ballon d'Or stuff was obviously big news and big.
Can drama. We get a status report on Leg? That's all I want to know.
Yeah,
his leg's still alive and kicking.
He's the one.
Is he
tweeting?
I mean, the dude is in Spain.
Look,
did he go to the Ballon d'Or ceremony because the rest of the Real Madrid contingent didn't go? We need to know if Leg was there or not.
Leg was certainly not there. Look, guys, Leg doesn't have the Real Madrid crest tattooed on his middle finger for no fucking reason. It's what he shows everybody when you start chirping at Madrid. Look, I don't think it was weird. Like, I don't think it was any sort of low-class move. Like, it was a clear snub. Like, if your storyline is, Danny Carvajal and Jude Bellingham pulled too many votes away from Vinny, that's bullshit. Like, I don't know. It's a whole thing. Now they're not releasing the votes. We know it's been a pretty fucking rigged award for years now since Messi just kept getting them and getting them and getting them without deserving anything. The criteria always seems to be moving. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. It's a French media award. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We all know that Vinny is the best dude on the planet. He's the best player on the planet. And I would just really, really fucking hate to be Valencia right now, because all of this stuff compounded together in a single week. And now you got to go take on Madrid. Also, don't get me wrong, Valencia fans, total fucking scumbags, already have a anti-Vinny chant circulating Twitter, and we will likely see a game stoppage there, which will be a shame because it will take the momentum out of the match and it'll just be scumbaggery all around.
I'm going to get Vinny to score 2 here. Let's see.
Vinny to score 2, Real Madrid minus 2.5.
Oh, it's not even the number. It's not even that good. I wouldn't even take it. It's like only plus 400 for him to score 2.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Whatever. But point stands. I mean, outside of that 1 under, I think we did pretty solid last week, yourself included. So appreciate you coming back, dropping some more winners. Scotty, let's just fucking start with the Premier League, man. There's some good games this round. I think you got your eye on a few. I'm looking at it and like, is it me or a lot of teams replaying the teams they played today?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the case for Liverpool, Brighton, and I like those games. I hate trying to cap because you get different lineups midweek, and then 2, it's just whatever formations that you saw. Like managers try to like overthink it, and they'll try to like switch things up a little bit and try to not show the same exact thing in back-to-back games. So I'm trying to stay away from those, but I think, right off the jump, we'll start with the first game of the weekend. It's actually, I think, going to be a really, really good game. Newcastle versus Arsenal. Arsenal, I think they feel a little hard done by the 2-2 draw against Liverpool last weekend. Honestly, I think if you talk to fans of both teams going into that, both teams have been happy with a draw coming out of it. Liverpool getting a draw from a top, top 3 contender on the road, certainly a good result. Arsenal, with the injuries they were dealing with, getting a result or a draw against Liverpool with those headwinds, certainly favorable for them. But coming out of it, for whatever reason, Arsenal fans are very upset. They want to claim refereeing decisions or whatever, but I don't really think there's anything that dramatic that happened in the game. But Newcastle, my lock of the week was against them last week with Chelsea money line. That cashed. This week, I'm actually going to lean into them a little bit. Arsenal do get back Saliba, but they lost Gabriel in the game against Liverpool, so they're still going to be pretty weak at the back. Newcastle's team total over 1.5 is like plus 180. I don't hate that. I know, Oaks, you're not a huge fan right now of their offense, but Isak looks decent against Chelsea. I think he might be getting back into form. That could be a big piece of it. But Newcastle double chance is like plus 150, minus 115, minus 120. I don't hate that in this game at home. I think this is a statement game for them. I think Arsenal have kind of, built everything up for the game against Liverpool. I don't want to call this a letdown game. I'm not trying to disrespect Newcastle in that sense, but I think going on the road, this is certainly a game where they haven't been, supremely focused on, and Newcastle can certainly catch them out. So I do like Newcastle double chance in this one because I can easily see them getting a result against a still somewhat hampered Arsenal side that maybe overlooking this road match a little bit too much.
Do I get to say it for the 10th consecutive week? Do I get to say this is like a prove me spot for Arsenal?
Yeah, you can say it.
The start of their schedule has been fucking brutal. I feel like I've been saying that all the time, but you know what? Man, tough scenes for them right now.
That's how it's supposed to be, though. If you're supposed to be a title contender,
100%. And that's what I say every week. That's literally what I say every week. So I'm kind of with you, man.
Yeah, so I've got an interesting one here. I know it's a little chalky to actually bet because it's minus 160, but Arsenal scored first in 5 of their last 7. Newcastle's conceded first in 5 of their last 7. Like if that comes down a little bit, or if you can, I don't know if you could parlay first goal, but maybe with something else in another match, it's a little chalky. How do you feel about that? Does Arsenal come out and score first? Does that trend continue?
They kind of have to.
Or does Newcastle change the narrative at home here? Because they don't give up a lot of goals. They've only given up. They're under 2.5 in 4 out of the last 5. Newcastle, but
I will say, I was wrong on 2 unders last week. I was not wrong on the Newcastle Chelsea under. That stayed under 3.5. And that number kind of got better as the week progressed. You hit the nail on the head here, Coach Steve. St. James Park, despite Newcastle's lack of offensive production, again, Scotty hit the nail on the head with Isak being injured, that offense was anemic. Isak not only came back, but he came back in form and is scoring goals. That is definitely a fucking problem here. That said, I still think that the under's very live here. Newcastle's defense is kind of how they stay in games. It's St. James Park, the crowd, the home atmosphere. That's what's going to do it here. Now, I don't hate getting involved with a Newcastle double chance because I do see both teams scoring here. If you think Arsenal score 2, though, I think the move is probably Arsenal on the money line. Minus 104 away at St. James Park is about as good of a number as you're going to see. It feels kind of trappy. And like Nick said, Arsenal still – there's plenty of doubters out there. There's plenty of people like Nick and myself who keep thinking Arsenal need to prove it. And, with this laundry list of injuries and guys unavailable, it does become a little bit more difficult. I don't know if I want to back a side here, but first look, Arsenal basically even money. It does feel kind of trappy, but it also feels like the right side to be on. I do think that Newcastle is a little bit of a step down in class compared to Liverpool. Yes, I know Arsenal is going on the road. I believe, did they play an EFL Cup game? They wouldn't give them. Yeah, they did. They played Preston
North End. Yeah,
away today. And let me just double check this lineup.
One thing I'll say about it, man, if you're going to back them, if you said they're scoring 2 goals, I'll just take a team total for minus 110 over 1.5.
I'm with you there because that way you take out the
kinda
ambiguity of it.
Don't really care, but I'm kind of I have to stop looking at Arsenal games on how I want them to end up, but I just haven't been right on Newcastle. So I will be avoiding this game personally, but I could absolutely 100% see Newcastle getting a result here, 1-1, a 2-2. Could absolutely see it. If Arsenal wins, which they could do, I don't think they run away with it. I think it's a 1-goal win maximum.
Sorry, I need to just double check where Newcastle is at on the table because I know they need points. I know they're need points
12th.
pretty bad.
12,
so they're
12 points. Yeah,
they're not terrible. They're still pretty clear.
Coach, we got one on Arsenal to score in the first half, or you don't care if it's in the first half or not, just to cut down that juice a little bit.
I'll check. Yeah, maybe it does help. Let's see. Got to pull up halves here. We got
yeah. Minus 130 for them to score in the first half, so not even that much better.
Slightly better.
A little bit.
But, yeah.
I dig it. Good parlay piece, maybe. Arsenal first goal.
Yeah, if you follow the trends. It is a tough one to call, though, because if Arsenal score 2, they probably win, right? But I don't know if they get
if Arsenal score 2, they probably get a point. I don't want to necessarily say they win, but they probably walk away from this game with at least a point.
But is this the kind of match where if they do win, it's a 1-0 or we get a 1-1 draw, and then you screw yourself twice if you take that team total? That's my worry here, because even though Newcastle has struggled, defensively they haven't really been that bad. They've only given up, I think I saw 3 at home this season.
As long as Shar can stay without a red card.
It's like he can stay on the field, yeah.
Yeah.
Although his red card really wasn't his fault. It was
No, but he did pick up 2 in the first 4 matches, right? Yeah. Or 2 in the first 5 matches, something like that. So, look, again, there's always a little bit of subjectivity there. But, yeah, as long as Shar is able to stay on the pitch and Newcastle's not playing with 10 men, defensively, they're sound.
Yeah.
Especially
they are defensively sound.
All right, but Scotty, I like it. Let's go.
Going into my next pick. This one's gonna be maybe a little out there. Bournemouth, Man City. Normally, you don't get a whole lot of value with Man City games, but for some reason, Man City -1 is -110, and I know that they're not playing really well, and I know they narrowly beat Southampton last weekend, but they're also on a fucking 38 game unbeaten run. Bournemouth, I don't think are all that great, even at home. They're not something that I think the City team is going to necessarily struggle with. And I think this is a one of those games where like City have struggled for a couple of games in a row here. They obviously just lost in the Carabao Cup to Chelsea, or just to Spurs, excuse me. And I think this is like a rebound game. I think you can see a Haaland like hat trick in this game. I think City roll over Bournemouth, and -1 is I don't want to call it risk free, but I really don't see Bournemouth getting any form of result here. So you're getting a 1-goal win as your potential worst case scenario, and you get your bet back.
I was kind of looking at over 2.5 team total for City. I think it's plus 160
away.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's an absolute must bet. I'm saying I see worse ones. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Bournemouth's only conceded 11 goals this season in 9 matches.
Only? Oh, okay. My bad.
In 9 matches, that's not bad, right? So,
how many games have they played City?
No, I know, but like Scott just said, this isn't the City that's been rolling. I mean, Bournemouth at home, solid side, 2-1-1, 6-4-3 conceded. So 2.5 would scare me a little bit to take a 2.5. I think.
I mean, just for reference though, like the over 1.5 for City is -195, and in what world is City drawing this game 2-2?
Right.
Like if the books are so heavy on City getting 2 goals in this, I don't see a world where they're dropping points.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Take over 3 or over 3.25? I'd rather just I'd rather give it all to City and try to catch a plus 160. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Folks, you got anything for this game?
Yeah, I mean, again, I hate to be agreeing with Scotty and sound like a Scotty dick rider here, but he's absolutely right. City -1 at -110 is fucking criminal, because even despite that bad performance they put up versus Southampton, you still got home with a push on that. And if you're offering me City at a push to win the fucking game, I kind of got to take it at -110. I know they struggle on the road. They're not the same team on the road. They don't put teams away on the road. They let them hang around. They let them breathe a little bit. I do like Bournemouth to find the back of the net here. Both teams to score is kind of juiced at -145, but there's plenty of fucking player props you'll be able to find to pair that with to get you to anything -110 or even a plus number or better. You can take probably like Savio to take a shot or Foden to take a shot. Like you can take something -400 and pair it with both teams to score and probably find a winner there. Personally, I don't like taking stuff that's -400. I kind of put the bottom of my market at like -250, just because I don't enjoy paying a lot of juice for like a juice eater or something like that. I try and make my bets at least priced reasonably. So I'm not going to go out and lay a bunch of extra juice just for something to try and cut juice in a same game parlay. But anyway, I think both teams to score at -145 over on Caesars is a pretty good number. And City minus goal on the Asian handicap at -110 feels like thievery.
And that's like kind of why I'm with you. And that's why I would consider taking a shot at them scoring 3, because you pretty much found the bet. They need to score 2 if we think Bournemouth are getting a goal, which we all kind of do. Yep. Might as well take a shot for them to get 3 is all I'm trying to say. That's why I kind of avoid City games altogether. I appreciate that you guys found some bets.
They're tough. They're tough to find good numbers on in handicap. And it kind of stinks because everybody's always like, oh, well, what's up with the City game? I don't know, dude. They're -1,200 on the money line. I don't see a lot of value there.
Nothing is up.
Yeah. All
Coach,
right.
anything for you?
No, I like the -1. I think that's a solid play at -110. If I'm taking something in this game, that's got to be it, because I don't imagine them dropping a result here. And I think Scott's logic is sound, where at worst you get your money back in what should happen. All right, going down the list, we have Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, West Ham. Anything jumping out?
We got to talk about Forest, West Ham, baby.
Well, okay, I want to hear what you got, Oaks, because I got.
Nick and I are in agreement on one here.
I think so. Go ahead.
First of all, shout out my boy Big Wood coming through for us at plus 230 with an anytime goal. Big Wood's getting fucking disrespected here again, my guy. Plus 190 for an anytime goal. This time at home versus a West Ham side who can't keep shit out of the back of their net. I like.
They don't even try.
No, I like both teams, dude. Also, kind of a dick move, subbing off Paqueta at half when I was on his shot on target. I'm just saying. Did still manage to pick up a yellow card in those 45 minutes. So shocker there. The guy who averages like 12 fucking yellow cards a season continues to get yellow cards. But yeah, look, this Nottingham Forest team is fun. They play a fun brand of football. It's enjoyable to watch. It doesn't fucking suck. And West Ham, despite the fact that they fucking suck, there's goals in every one of their games, and it's entertaining to watch. So I can get both teams to score sitting at minus 135 on Caesars. I think that's still good enough to play as a standalone. I would pay the juice to do that. I'm probably going to wait because I do think that number gets better closer to match time. The over 2.5 here at minus 115 on Caesar feels like a fucking layup, dude.
Done.
So I love both teams to score. I like the over 2.5. I think both teams to score over 2.5 is a good look. And if you think I'm going away from my big Kiwi brethren in Big Chris Wood, you're out of your fucking mind because the man's just a goal scoring machine right now.
Those are my two. I kind of lean West Ham.
Forest over 1.5, considering West Ham's like a sieve in the back.
Good. I don't mind. I mean, this is like a 2-2 game. Easy. Big easy in my mind. I kind of, only because of the odds, I kind of dig West Ham plus 1/4 of a goal at minus 110, only because the odds don't make sense to me. Like you guys both mentioned, the defense is absolutely fucking terrible. Oaks joked about it last week. Michele Antonio will just be starting no matter fucking what at 39 years old. I think he's only 36. He might not be 39. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, yes, I know Forest are at home. I'm not going to steal Scotty's point because I know he's about to make a really good point or give a solid opinion on what the Forest numbers should be. But it's scaring me off taking Forest. I think West Ham plus 1/4 of a goal is kind of like the sneaky play here.
I want to cut in before Scotty goes. I do just want to say I'm happy to make fun of myself and take shots at myself when I lose bets, but I think we got to give a little credit on that West Ham draw no bet last weekend at like plus 160, which was a nice little hit for everybody.
100%.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say, looking at this one, I kind of lean towards to Nottingham. They've been in good form. They've been, I don't want to call them a surprise team of the season, but they've been pretty consistently churning out results. Plus 115 is it gives me pause because it feels like the number should have a negative in front of it. And so that's, I think, Nick, what your point is that it just you're taking it because you're trying to like catch the books out on trying to trap us, right? So I'm not. For that reason, I'm not sitting here and telling you Nottingham Forest is a lock by any means. I'm just saying when I'm looking at these lines, I lean towards Forest. And if push came to shove, that's probably where I'm putting my money just because I don't want to take, a West Ham defense that I don't trust with, any sense of my body. Right. And I'd rather just, put my faith in a Forest team that's been a pleasant surprise at home against a team that's just never really been consistent on the back end.
Completely agree. That's why I think West Ham gets something out of this game because it doesn't make sense. This is that game of the weekend in England to me. That just doesn't make sense.
I'm fine with that. All right. Looking down the rest of them, we got a couple, relegation fodder matches. Ipswich, Leicester. I typically lean towards the home teams in those games, but nothing strong on my side in any of those. Although, Nick, I think you liked Leicester just because they got smashed by United. Is that what you're
kind of? I like Leicester to bounce back a little bit. Just again, two teams kind of evenly matched. Give me the underdog on the spread, or give me the underdog at a plus number. I don't know. It's worth a stab. I really have. I don't watch Ipswich enough to really have a super strong opinion, but
I've watched a weird amount of Ipswich this season.
They're winless in 6 games. They haven't won a game yet this year. I'm sorry. They're winless in all 9 of their games. So, how do you not take Leicester at that number?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like the over 2.5 sitting at minus 135. Both teams to score minus 160. Both teams to score over 2.5, getting you close to a plus number there. Here's one to think about, too. goal in both halves is -150. If you're looking to pair Arsenal to score first with something, I definitely don't hate that in Ipswich versus Leicester. We know Leicester kind of takes a little bit of time to get into the game. Ipswich has proven that they can score early and that they're tough at home. They definitely defend the home turf pretty well here. I think a goal in both halves isn't a bad look. And a game I expect 3 goals in.
Yeah.
I'm about to look up a number for Leicester to score last, because I feel like no matter what, they always fucking score last. It's like whether it's tie the game super late, whether it's
they're a second half team. Like
that winner.
They just kind of showed that this season.
Fuck, where do they even have that? Maybe it's under.
I think it's under game props.
Yeah.
I mean, Leicester plus quarter of a goal is kind of where I'm at. Again, Ipswich has. So here's where I confuse myself. Because in the last game, I'm telling you that, like, oh, West Ham, this shit doesn't make sense. What, the odds are scaring me off of Forest. Why is Ipswich a favorite? They haven't won a game. Yes, they're at home, but like the odds are telling me Ipswich wins this game. And I'm telling you the complete opposite thing that I told you last game. This is where I psych myself out. But like, I'm going to go against the winless team. I'm always going to do that. Like, I remember 3-4 weeks ago, Juve played Cagliari, and we had Juve to keep a clean sheet. They hadn't given up a goal in the entire league in 6 games in the league, whatever. Cagliari gets a fucking goal against Juve. Like, but I'm going to bet that 10 out of 10 times, every single fucking time. So I don't know. I'm going to take the team that has won games. I'm going to go against the team that's winless. And it's trying to make it make sense, but I can't make sense of it.
So Leicester last goal, Nick, is +115.
I love that.
All right, maybe that's the play in this one. Just in the interest of time, I want to spend a little time on the last 3 matches of the match week here. So we got Wolves Palace. I'm going to avoid because those are the 2 most inconsistent teams in the Premier League. You could get a great match from either of them, or you could get an absolute shit match from either of them. So good luck. Flip a coin, pick a team. There's no point in capping this one.
Yep.
Spurs Villa. I like this match. I think my initial tuition is, all right, last week we said the Spurs line was just disrespectful, and it ended up not being disrespectful because they looked like dog shit. This one, I almost feel like it's the same with Aston Villa. I think it's I don't get why Villa are such heavy underdogs in this match. I know they looked good, or Spurs looked good midweek. They've had a handful of sprinkling of decent results here and there where they're actually scoring, but against top teams, I don't like this Spurs side. I don't think this is a Spurs team that's really built to necessarily upset top teams who are playing their A lineups. For anybody that's about to point out that they just beat City, I don't really think that City lineup was far from their best. Lineup. So looking at this, I mean, look, Aston Villa draw no bet +160 is crazy. I would absolutely put money on that as it is, but I know Nick is all about trying to just find the pick that's most likely to win. Aston Villa double chance or plus half a goal is like -115.
Yes.
I think that is an absolute must play.
I won't add to it. I'll just agree with you and I'll bet on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to take, when you get in Villa at that kind of number with the half a goal, I think you have to take it. I can't believe they're +245 on the road on the money line here.
Yeah. And I get it. Like it's Spurs, they have talent, they have flashes where they're showing, that they're kind of returning to that form where they were in last season that put them in the top 4, but they've just been super inconsistent. They've constantly conceded goals at really poor times. And this is a Villa team that'll take advantage of that. And to think that Spurs will walk away from this with 3 points easy, I doubt it. So I'm happy to take Aston Villa double chance at -115.
Yeah, Villa over 1.5?
Sure.
Anybody? Plus 120?
Here's where I'm at with it. Anybody keeping a clean sheet here? Do either of these teams play any fucking defense whatsoever? I know
not a chance.
That Villa got Tyrone Mings back, who I've been kind of telling people like, yo, look for Tyrone Mings. When they get him back at center back, they're going to be more sound defensively. The guy's coming off a disastrous knee injury, and he played today for the first time in like 400 something days. I don't think that impact is going to be felt in his second game, that he's going to be available and dressed. I don't know if he even gets the start here. Tottenham at home, is a wagon. Like, they score goals at home. They make their home a fortress. That's what you have to do in the EPL. That's how you get points. That's how you climb the table. This Aston Villa squad is getting completely disrespected. Plus half a goal on the Asian handicap / double chance at -110. I'm in complete agreement with the rest of the guys here, which means that Spurs are going to win this fucking game. But anyway, I think we're all kind of in agreement. We see goals here. Some numbers I want to throw out for you that I think are looking mad fucking spicy, just like Nick did with the City over 2.5. First half over 1.5 goals is +110 on Caesars. We know that both of these teams like to come out of the gate hot and score goals. They both really press and are super vulnerable at the back to counters, and they both counter really well. I can see this game being super free-flowing and a lot of back and forth throughout the entire match. First half, both teams to score is +220 over on BetMGM. That is an absolutely wild-ass high number. And over 3.5 goals in this game is +120 on Bet Rivers. Those are the 4 bets that I had circled for this one without getting into any sort of player props.
Yeah, I would certainly look at the first half, both teams to score. I think that's, if you want to try to get a little lucky and get some extra money, that's a great line. All right, and then going into the last two, I circled this one, United versus Chelsea. I think if you asked me to cap this game 7 days ago, I'd have a completely different take. I think Chelsea, I would be all over Chelsea, draw no bet at -110, but I'm going to go the inverse on this one. New manager bounce. Nilsterooy, they scored 5 goals midweek. I think that getting rid of Ten Hag is probably a bit of a relief for a lot of the people in the locker room. Rubin Amorim will come in 10 days during international break and put in the super defensive 3-4-3 type formation that's going to be just as painful. But in the interim, I think United fans are going to enjoy watching Van Nilsterooy and his tactics. So I'll take United in the new manager bounce at home, -120. I mean, we've seen shittier teams with shittier managers come in and get, decent results against better teams in this Chelsea side. So I don't see why Old Trafford can't see a similar good vein of form here. So I'll take United. Bet, right? Yeah, that's what I said. Is that what I said? Draw no bet? Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't say double chance. But yeah, draw no bet, -120.
I dig it.
Yeah, look, I'm a big Rude Boy guy. I like Rude Boy a lot. It's nice that maybe we probably could have led the show with that. Ten Hag out finally happened. It finally got done. What this means for Man U long term is they end up paying a lot of money for coaches that aren't doing shit for their team. Roma's unfortunately kind of in the same situation here. I think those contracts start to pile up, and it does have a major financial strain on your organization. Again, when you're as rich as the Glazers and whoever else is part of this ownership group now, I guess you can just fucking write a check. But it's not a good long-term project. But Chelsea don't play any fucking defense. Man U, I don't know, maybe they'll play some defense. It didn't look like it today. Scored 5, gave up 2. Over 3.5 here at +125 over on Bet Rivers is a really, really good number. Either of these teams, Chelsea or Man U, to score in both halves is +184. So if you like early goals here and you think, either side you want to support is scoring a goal in the first half and scoring in the second, +185 is a great fucking number to do it at. Really? So you could talk me in. Again, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
That's the beauty of this game, right? Like,
I'm not a fan of either of the clubs. I don't fucking care. But I'm telling you, if you care, there's a really good number here. And personally, this game kind of screams 2-2 draw to me. Had you said this, again, before Ten Hag was out, I'm with Scotty. Again, I'm not trying to be a Scotty dick rider here, but the Chelsea draw no bet.
Man's hot.
My -108 is looking really fucking good to me. And I don't do it often. Like Nick said last week, the draw is an absolute runner here at +280.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I can see that too.
Coach,
it's good. It's going to be a game where like I feel like whoever scores first is going to be, flying until there's going to be some sort of like counter gut punch, and then we'll see who takes the second half.
I think this is either going to be an 8-goal electric fucking thriller of a match that has a very real possibility of ending up 4-2, 3-3, something like that, really high scoring, or it's going to be a complete dud that ends either 0-0 or 1-1, and everyone's going to be like, oh, well, this game fucking sucked.
Yeah, that's fair. That's certainly fair.
Who you got, Coach?
I don't really have an opinion on it, but I think the logic of new manager bounce, I think, gives United a little bit of a bump here. Maybe if anything, I'd go draw no bet on either side. I could definitely see
Coach
this
is
being
licking his chops for Serie A. I could see it.
Also, think about this storyline. If Van Nistelrooy comes out hot and wins a couple games and looks really good, and then Amorim comes in and struggles, how chaotic is that going to be?
It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the best Twitter has been in months. It'll be elite shithousery.
Think about how bad United's been for so long.
Right.
Like Arsenal fans just started chirping up recently. Imagine when the United fans come back if they start winning games.
It's going to be unbearable.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely intolerable.
Scotty, you got anything else for the EPL? Because I have one that we got to talk about.
I got one last one. It's Brentford Fulham. It's two teams that are scoring. I mean, Brentford's, I think, allowing and scoring both 2 goals a game. I think they've given up 18 and 9, and they've scored 18 and 9. I love both teams to score in over 2.5. I think it's like minus 115. That's a no-brainer to me. And it's a Monday game too, so I think that's like the perfect game to just put the house on that and then just watch it at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, wherever your time zones end up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Sorry, my bad. Did I cut you off, Nick?
No. I didn't know if you had anything for this game. I have nothing to add because it's the bet.
How can I not go back to the Brentford first half goal well plus 125 over on Caesars? I mean, how? They've done it in every fucking match. Like, how do I not go back to that? Also, I think Embuemo to score a goal at plus 260 is flat out disrespectful.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's also a great number.
That.
And that was it. Those are my 5 EPL picks.
I didn't know if anybody was ready to talk about unbeaten in 5-game Everton, or are we just going to pretend that that's not happening?
I can't bet Everton without bias, and that usually
Everton
goes
plus
poorly for me.
Everton draw no bet minus 105, and we just keep taking it until they lose the game. I think that's where I'm at.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it'd be crazy for me to see Southampton get. I know they're at home, but getting a win in this one would be. I mean, honestly, it'd be the most Everton thing of all time.
Yes,
it would be exactly the most Everton thing of all time,
and it is very, very possible. But Everton's hot, so we stick with them.
I'm going to say I like the over in this one, and it's going to go under again. So.
Yeah.
I think last week was the first week in Everton game went under, right? Like every other game has, I think, or like 8 out of 9 or something stupid has been over. So,
yeah.
Hedge.
They're still sitting there in 60, despite being unbeaten.
Find a third goal for me. That pissed me off.
Yeah. Dude, despite being unbeaten in their last 5 games, they're still sitting there in 16th place. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, they've already been playing the best that they've played in years, and they're still just sitting, flirting. I mean, if it weren't for the fact that Wolves and Southampton are completely useless, like, they would still be sweating it out right now.
Again, man.
The Wolves aren't dead when they get playing back. Like, I know Wolves' big problem is they let in
3 of us could score on 4 of us could score on them. That's their problem. No, man. Listen, I don't feel the need to go too much into it, but Southampton again doesn't have a win. They've lost 8 out of 9 games. How do you not back Everton in this game? Draw no bet minus 105.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I don't know. I can't see another way. And an over. Over's fine.
All right, you guys ready to shift into Italy now?
Yes, sir.
All right, take it away, Coach.
All right, so still three matches tomorrow on Thursday. So some of this is it's.
Oh, do you do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
What are you gonna do? Oh yeah, you want to talk? You want to talk Ballo?
Guys.
So is this for the Thursday match you're betting this, or are you giving him until the weekend?
I mean, I don't know if he's going to be fit or playing or coming off the bench or anything.
No,
there may not be.
Yeah,
but Hard Rock Bet is giving me plus 325 for Ballo to score. and I'm going to fucking take it. And I waited to place it until I got here live on air. I'm going to do it in front of you guys because I have to. That's my boy. Him and I go back 20 years. We got to bet him. Maybe not 20.
Might be 20.
And for what it's worth, I think Fiorentina absolutely smashed this game. Genoa fucking stink. But
that was my big question coming into this game. Are Fiorentina actually good, or is Roma just that ass?
No,
Let's find out.
I think it's Genoa's that ass. I think Fiorentina is good enough to beat them.
Moise Kean at plus 200 is a fucking solid number.
My guy.
Moise Kean at plus 200. I think that
solid number.
The weekend. Yeah, he's been
number.
Playing well. Yeah.
All right, boys, we are in my bets. It is done. Follow to score. Plus 325.
For those of you watching at home.
Oh, you can't see it, but it's there.
For those of you watching at home, I 100% support Nick's commitment to the bit for content. You're going to get a much better number live. So just,
he's probably not starting. And if he comes in the 70th minute, definitely
put like $5 on it and then watch the game and bet it live because you're gonna get like 9 or 10 to 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it again this weekend.
If he gets in,
I will do it
again
this weekend.
I respect the commitment to the bit for content purposes.
I said I was going to do it. Man of my word. I waited. Do you know what it took me to wait 3 days to place this bet?
I'm sure you've been dying to tweet it for the last 72 hours.
I have. But I do like Fiorentina to probably get 2 goals in this game also because Genoa fucking stink.
Yeah.
Just for what it's worth.
If you don't listen, if you're not watching live, you hear this tomorrow. It might be too late by the time you watch this, but I think if you're watching live, I think Fiorentina minus 130. I like the 2 goals. I like Moise Kean. I like all those lines, and it's not like
minus 120 on MGM.
Yeah,
it's not because of what they did yesterday over the weekend against Roma. It's just Genoa's that bad. Fiorentina. Please, I talked about that already on the other podcast. You could listen to that.
Give us like 20 seconds.
I stopped watching the match a half hour in. I took Luca for a bike ride. I was done with it.
That was smart.
Yeah, I'm not watching that shit. I'm done with it.
Scotty,
there's no
we
point.
Broke him at solid. Not we. Roma broke him at least 2 months earlier than I expected.
Oh yeah.
At least 2 months earlier than I expected.
Because normally, I feel like obviously I write about the team, I podcast about the team. I feel the obligation to watch the matches I can in their entirety when I'm able to, but I wasn't doing it.
That one.
No. Now when it was, even after Kone got the goal, then they give up a goal 2 minutes later. Like, no, I'm done with this. I got better things to do on a Sunday.
Coach, you'll always have that summer transfer window, though.
Yes.
The best summer transfer window in Europe.
People are still talking about that summer transfer window.
Summer transfer
European
Scudetto.
Football. They keep coming up with the results in European football. It is whatever Europa/Conference League.
But Maccabi Hobby or whatever. Who are they playing?
No, they played who they played Dynamo Kiev last time. They won on a penalty kick.
I was gonna make a joke about people dodging missiles, and I wouldn't have been wrong.
That's it. Same still stands.
The Ukrainians scored versus the Ukrainians. I was asking Nick whether or not he liked that free match.
Yeah.
And ended up jumping on it and cashing a nice little ticket there.
Hey, minus 115 on Fiorentina tomorrow, but Ballo will be back. So thank you. We can go to this weekend's games now. Sorry.
All right. So I think
you want to talk Lazio tomorrow?
No, not really.
No, he does not.
No.
Really?
No. I mean, Lazio's stupid fucking number at plus 145. But
see, that's why we got to talk about this game, because there's stupid fucking numbers, and I need to know whether or not you are in this more as a Lazio fan or as a Como to get relegated plus 900 ticket holder.
I'm both. Like now you're gonna get me on my fucking bike.
No, because both teams to score minus 140 is a perfectly playable number, and we know Lazio games tend to the over. Yeah. The over 2.5 is only sitting at minus 105. Yeah. I need the Lazio take on this, and I need to know the status of whether or not we're going to break you by winter break, much like Coach Steve has been broken.
No, I'm good.
It's not a season where he can break.
No, because I had no expectations coming in, but I also they vastly overperformed what I expected them to be at this point in the season. They've won 5 out of 6 in all competitions. The loss to Juve was because they were down a man, and they still almost pulled out that game with a draw. Listen, I think Lazio draw no bet minus 120 is an insanely silly number. I think the over on any Lazio game until further notice is absolutely in play, minus 105, as you mentioned. Why not? If you like somebody to score, I don't know what the lineup's going to look like, but Dia, who has 7 goals already this year, is plus 200. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. No, he just can't hit the fucking net, dude. You got a better chance at hitting the net from your seat.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not surprised at the anti-Castellanos slander. And he is Argentine, so normally I'd support it. But yeah, I don't know. I think that if you're going to give me those kind of numbers on Castellanos, it's always worth a look.
Fact.
All right. So moving on to the weekend, Bologna-Lecce opens the weekend on Saturday. Then there's one that jumps out at me. It's Udinese hosting Juve. Juve minus 115
Smash
on the money line.
For Juve.
Yeah. Juve coming off back-to-back draws. One against Inter, good result, I guess, on paper. The one today, not so much. I think it was Parmenick that got the 2-2 against them.
Juve did come back twice. Yeah. They were down 1-0 and 2-1.
Yeah, so a team that had conceded a team that had conceded 1 goal heading into that Inter match and now conceded 6 in 2 matches. I don't think that trend continues against Udinese. I know, it's a road match, but I think when you get them at minus 115 on the money line, I think this is a number you have to take. Can
I tempt you guys with a Juve to win and under 3.5 parlay for plus 110? Sure.
I know what Oaks' bet's going to be. I get bet money. I know what the first bet you give out.
Is it both teams to score?
Both teams to score. Yeah.
Look, I mean, you really like what? No. What have we seen Juve the last 2 games that makes you think they're keeping a fucking clean sheet against the
Udinese scores every game. Udinese's been hot. They score every game.
I know. And they got a 6'8" guy who's a massive fucking problem on set pieces, and Juve's shown that they're not very good at defending set pieces lately. Both teams to score at plus 108 here feels like a really, really good number. Over 2.5 is plus 145.
I like Juve team total also, man. Plus 130.
Over 1.5. I fucking love that. Juve on the money line. Juve and both teams to score over 2.5. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to be really tough to keep a clean sheet versus Udinese, considering how many minutes you've just stacked onto your legs and you have Champions League going into next week. Like, this is a very crowded schedule for Serie A. I think we could see some rotation here from Juve. Their defense is ass. They're giving up goals left, right, and center right now. I don't know how you pick Udinese to get clean sheeted at home here.
Yeah, I agree. Scotty and Coach, I mean, I'll ask you both. Scotty, you're the OG Napoli hater, so we got to give you props for that. Right. We all know we have a hate relationship with Juve, but I mean, I think the reality, everything Oaks just said, everything Coach was starting to bring up at the beginning, I mean, you're 7 points back already of Napoli, or you're only 3 of Inter. I guess you had a pretty good result against them last weekend, but like Juve drops points here. I don't think there's a way. Not that I thought they're winning the league anyway. I do not think they're winning the league, but you drop points here, dude. You can no chance. I feel
especially considering how good Napoli's been, right? I think everybody looked at Juve as the number 2 option, or 2A with Milan as the biggest challenger to Inter, and now here's Napoli just playing their asses off after that opening week loss where we were kind of laughing at them and saying, they're the same as last year, and they're far from it. Conte's changed his team, and now, like, if you're 7 back and maybe it grows to more with a drop points in this one, I don't think there's a path to the Scudetto at that point, especially if Inter starts getting going a little bit.
The only thing I'd say to that is, I mean, if we're talking about like a Premier League or La Liga or whatever, where the champions are consistently putting up 95 points a season, maybe, but this is Serie A, and we know crazy shit happens, and especially with a team managed by Antonio Conte, like, things can go downhill really fast.
Right,
like, really fast
with the owner yet.
So it's way too early in the season to write off a team that, I mean, look, when we talk about the beginning of the season as Inter and Juve, like
Juve.
Yeah, like
Right.
I wouldn't write them off. I think this is probably a season where the team that takes the Scudetto is probably in like they have mid 80 points, right? They're not going to be, running the tables and
Yeah.
chalking up 95. So what, you don't think Juve can get another 60 plus points after them?
I'm saying if Juve doesn't get 3 points in this game, yes, I don't think they can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't
mean
write them off
the lowest point total for a winner in the last 4 to 5 seasons was 86 by Milan a couple of years ago. So it's going to take at least 85 points, even though teams are off to slow start. I think it's still going to take 85 points probably to win the Scudetto.
Yeah.
And if you're at
Juve and Napoli haven't played each other yet, right? Or have they?
They have 0-0.
Oh, they have
0-0 draw.
Yep.
Oh, that's forgettable. Understandable then.
Very.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to reinforce the point that like Juve smashes this game. Like I don't see a reality where they don't score 2 against Udinese, and I think Udinese do get on the score sheet. I think the over's in play. I absolutely agree.
So speaking of Napoli, they are hosting Atalanta this weekend in kind of the marquee matchup of the weekend in Serie A. They're even money at home against Atalanta plus 235. I mean, based on form and the fact that Napoli doesn't have Europe next week and those kind of things. I mean, I know Atalanta's coming off a win today, but man, it's kind of hard to pass up on Napoli at home plus even money, no?
Well, I'll give you over 2.5 is minus 130.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
that's got to be the bet.
Is minus 105.
Yeah.
And that's not even the best number.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the first place I was going. And I'm sorry, Scotty, I cut you off, but I just had some excitement. I think similar to the Man City game we spoke about, and not super advocating for this bet, but I'm saying if you want to take a stab somewhere, Atalanta score 2 goals is in like the plus 170 range. Yeah. And that's just kind of a silly number for a team that scores 2 a game.
Yep.
I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah.
So sorry, Scotty, you can finish.
No, that was it. I mean, that was my point. I agree. Napoli plus 100, even as the number one Napoli hater here. I also do not love putting money on Atalanta. That does not fare well for me. But the over 2.5, I was expecting this to be like a 3.5 game. To be honest with you, a 3.5 game.
When I saw that
it's very playable at 2.5. It's because Napoli's not conceding goals right now, right? They're under 2.5 and 4 out of 5.
Atalanta does enough for both of them.
I don't know how Milan didn't get in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Dude. That Morata header cost my boy that Nick did the stream with. He cost my boy Lopez VAR took away a plus 2,800 fucking same game parlay hit winner of of Morata anytime goal, Lukaku anytime goal, Special K to score assist. So look, Napoli has been good defensively, but they haven't played an offensive juggernaut like Atalanta yet. And look, say what you want about Atalanta and the results they've gotten and conceding goals, blah, blah, blah. They were able to rest and rotate today. I was texting Nick earlier. I'm like, hey, why can't I find Zappacosta props? Like, I don't see him anywhere. Is he hurt today? Like, no, that was just a scheduled rest day for Zappacosta. They
came on and scored, by the way, in about the
What a shocker. What a shocker. Zappacosta continues to just fucking rip balls and put them on frame. Who would ever told you that 3 weeks ago when I had a fucking cheat code on his number. But anyway, they also rested Pasalic, who is very good. Another guy who can score assists.
Okay. I'll never forgive him for Celtic ever in my life.
So yeah, look, I like the both teams to score over 2.5 here. Again, it's sitting at minus 105 on FanDuel. I didn't shop that around. FanDuel is typically one of the worst numbers on both teams to score over 2.5 is a pre-made parlay. And that's just what shows up on my odds shopping tool. So that's just what I go with for the show. Always go find your own best number. I could easily see a draw here, and I think the Napoli money line at plus 105 might be bait, but I also might take it.
I could see it. Coach, what do you think, dude?
I'm cautious on I see where you come from. I think if you're going to take a stab, I think over 1.5 for Atalanta is worth taking a stab at that number. Because
I'm just saying that's a kind of a silly number.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sprinkle, right? Like that's probably maybe something you're going to just throw a little something on for fun. But it's I haven't watched a lot of Napoli at all yet this year, to be honest. But when you see the results they're bringing in, it's hard to pass up at least taking a shot on the money line. But
Fucking
Atalanta's funny
6:30
like
game,
that,
by the
right?
way.
Yeah, and
Fucking
yeah,
idiots.
it's a 6:30. I don't know why that would be the
Thanks for
lunchtime
that.
kickoff in Italy, which is then 6:30 Eastern here in the U.S. because that's the premier game. Usually they save those for like the afternoon slot, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it's a tricky one because of Atalanta. But like we saw what happened when they went to Inter, right? They got absolutely railed by Inter. So
The only good game Inter's played
They
all year,
also
by the way.
They also played a couple of, they played an extra game, Madrid, in a neutral site, and they still didn't have their own stadium yet because it hadn't opened, and they were the only team in Serie A to play 3 consecutive away matches to open the season there. So I'm not necessarily defending getting skull fucked for nothing, but you do have to put it in perspective to where Atalanta were in their season at that point.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I've got a bet in a different game for you. It's the Torino-Fiorentina match on Sunday.
Yeah.
Both teams still have to play tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in those matches. Torino's at Roma, and Fiorentina we talked about already. And both those teams tend to play high-scoring matches. The over 2.5 in this match at the Stadio Olimpico Torino is even money.
Yes, sure. You need a goal from Fiorentina, from Torino, though. Let's be clear about that.
Torino's over 2.5 and 5 out of 6. Fiorentina 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but they all had Zapata in the lineup, except for one.
Yeah, I take it though. I'm with you on a good over there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Coach Steve.
No, I was just going back to the match. I mean, they've been conceding a lot until last match against Como, and that could be the key, right? If Fiorentina comes out firing like they have recently, they put up 5 in Roma, they put up 6 on Lecce, 4 in the Conference League. They're on a good run of form, and if they do it again to Genoa tomorrow, maybe they come in hot and maybe they find 3 goals themselves. I don't know, but I think that's worth a play, depending on how these 2 matches play out tomorrow.
I can get on board.
I'm with you. I said before the show when we were doing our little warm up, I can't get involved in this match until I see what happens tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. I think you got to wait, right?
I do think that you're right with the over 2.5, but I need to see Fiorentina go and stomp out Genoa tomorrow. I need to see Torino put the ball in the back of the net again without Zapata. I need to see Shea Adams carry his weight there. I need to see that defense look alive. I need to see a little bit more of what Torino looks like without Zapata, again, who last week, I joked if Torino had 35 goals last season, Zapata scored 30 of them. It can't be understated how big of a loss that is for Torino without Zapata.
I agree.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a wait and see to see how tomorrow plays out. But if it stays at that number and both teams are in games where there's goals, that I would definitely consider it.
It's something good to be thinking about as you're watching the games tomorrow. So if you're watching the games tomorrow, you see goals and you're liking the over like Steve is talking about, then go bet it because that number is only going to come down as the week moves into the weekend.
Yeah.
You know what number is also going to get worse? AS Roma money line. AS Roma team total. Coach doesn't like the team total. I see that, but I don't know, man.
I can't trust them I can't trust them right now.
How
I can't.
They're playing Hellas. Hellas has lost 3 in a row. They're the worst team 4 years running. Somehow they are still miraculously in the top flight, but the most money I think I've made is just fading them game after game after game. They give up an absolute ton. I could see a 1-0 win for Roma in this one. I don't see how you don't back Roma on the money line.
I have to see what Roma does tomorrow. See if Roma shows up against Torino first.
I don't think it matters. I think if they don't show up against Torino, it's a must-win game against Hellas. I think if they do show up against Torino, now they have a little bit of momentum, and Hellas has lost 3 in a row.
It's a must-win no matter what. It's a must-win no matter what at the point they are in their season because they can't afford to drop matches to teams that are going to be in the bottom half of the table anymore. They've
Hellas to keep Roma to keep a clean sheet plus 160. I think is silly. I don't know. Because you don't get it because I get to say this, and then when it doesn't come through, I don't care. Roma drop more points.
Right, okay.
I'm good.
So Nick's
I'll pay
on
for Roma to drop
content
points.
troll stuff right now.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, bet. I got
pay
it.
for
I'm
Roma to
picking
drop
up the
points.
vibe.
So in other words, don't bet all of these things Nick is currently advocating for unless you're a Lazio fan who's going to
in which case
revel
it's the
in
same
Roma
logic.
dropping points. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm just
But
saying.
no, honestly, and you know me, I'm loyal to my club. I bet them often when I get numbers like this, -125 and such. I can't do that unless I see that they really show up against Torino tomorrow. And even then,
they
I'm
look like
still
a
going to
dead
be
body.
cautious about it. Yeah.
How hot is that seat for Juric?
I'm shocked. If he was the first manager of the season, he'd be fired already.
Oh,
Well,
for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, we already saw the first manager of the season get fired, so we don't need
You
to.
can't pay 4 managers at once. You just can't.
United's doing it.
How's that working out for them? Aren't they 16th on the table still?
Yeah, that's where Roma is just about.
Yeah.
Scott's been suspiciously quiet about Roma for 2 weeks. Suspiciously quiet.
Listen, I made my top five managers I want to see take over for Juric. And I'm waiting for him to leave so that way I can expose it.
Oh, okay. We're gonna hold on to it. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll save it for when the seat is officially vacant.
Is Ten Hag on the list? Just yes or no?
He was not. He was not.
Because he's available now.
Yeah, that ego in Rome. Jose Mourinho was the only guy that could get away with that.
Yeah. Listen, I'll say something crazy. I think weirdly enough, Ten Hag might actually be a decent manager in Serie A. Like weirdly enough, I could see it being okay.
Well, what does he or the team have to lose at this point?
Dude, when you're saying the team, or are you saying Roma?
Right?
From Man U for 3 fucking years, dude.
Right. He can't tarnish his reputation anymore.
Yeah.
I predict that he's going to go back to Ajax, and they're just going to go back to completely dominating the
Almost definitely. But again,
but
if
shout
someone
out PSV, by the way, my boy Ricardo Pepe has been on one fucking recently,
love that
dude.
Absolutely, love to see it. El Paso's finest.
Yeah. Also, again, while we're plugging Americans, I mentioned it to open the show. Gianluca Busio shot on target at +160 or better every fucking game for Venezia. The dude is clinical in front of the net. He only took 1 shot today. I did dabble in him to take 2 shots at -110. But yeah, the dude's fucking clinical, and I don't know how I keep getting that long of a number on Gianluca Busio while we're plugging Americans.
Yeah.
Hey,
plugging Americans. Weah and McKennie both scored today for Juve.
Big West with the goal.
Plugging Americans, that's a nice transition into Monza versus Milan. Hey, I make shows on occasion too. This game
Monza
for me
stinks.
completely centers around whether or not Pulisic's gonna start. We obviously saw his impact when he stepped on the pitch midweek here. Again, I said I didn't understand or I thought Milan definitely should have scored a goal. I think that, despite what Milan fans are screaming about their manager, Benson Leao was good. Chuck Ueze looked fucking awesome. Okafor looked good until he subbed off too. Milan team total here at -135 for over 1.5 looks really good. Monza is a fucking joke. These guys are terrible. I'm surprised they managed to stay up again last season. That said, Milan, their back line looks like complete ass, and probably will moving forward. I think that this is going to be a player prop out the wazoo market for me, but I would be doing a disservice if we don't talk about Milan going on the road and scoring 2 goals here at -135, -130.
Absolutely agree. And I'm going to say something I don't want to say because he's my new favorite target to trash on Twitter in Leao. But if Leao starts in this game, this is a Leao prop game, like to score or assist.
He's going to take 20 shots.
Target you 100%. This is a Leao legacy game against last place Monza. Some are saying. Oaks, hit us.
And if Pulisic plays, we're betting it's to score or assist.
Every
even
time.
though, I don't like laying juice on those props, but, I'd say that's good to about -125. You got to play it. I took his shot on target live when he checked in, at like the 65th minute, I texted Nick, they fucking hung plus 360 on that, dude. Like, that was absolutely disrespectful. If Chukwueze starts, I cannot tell you guys how high I am on this kid, the young Nigerian. I've been betting his to score or assist. I've been betting his shot on target at Villarreal for years, or for what feels like, years now. He's a fucking stud, dude. His left foot is a wand. I love this kid, and I can't tell you guys that enough. And if you're going to continue to hang like plus 135, plus 145, plus 160 on his shot on target like we saw midweek, that's an absolutely disrespectful number. Now, this isn't Napoli at home. This is bottom of the league Monza away. But still, the numbers on Milan here are pretty disrespectful for a club like Milan going on the road. I don't think that the house is as much on fire as Milan fans want to lead you to believe it is. That said, if Milan wants to fire another manager, I've been very adamant. I will take the job for less than $1 million a year. I am well within your budget, and you have so much talent that I really can't fuck that up. I don't know what Milan fans are looking for. It's not all big brain, high concept shit. Put all your fast, fun players on the pitch together. Give them the freedom to go score a bunch of fucking goals and call me the next Don Carlo.
Scotty, Fonseca to Roma. Who says no?
It already happened once.
That's why. Who's saying no for the second time? Is he on your top five?
Everyone. So listen, my top five is top five managers I would like to see.
Yeah, he's not even on the top five.
Listen. I've got a solid top
we
five.
might have to turn it to a top 10 because there's so many managers.
You can have your top five. Like I said, my plan was to have 2 top fives, and coach can pick his favorite.
All right, I like it. Oaks.
The top 4 are on the screen here.
Fact.
Well,
I like that.
don't want to spoil anything. One of them might be on the screen right now.
I like that. One's name is Coach. Just for what it's worth. Oaks, dude, thanks again for fucking joining us, bro. Appreciate you. I know obviously Leg is on vacation, but you have an open invite to always join the show. Appreciate you always in the chat. Tell the people about what else you got going on.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some live streams for the rest of the week. So tomorrow we are going to be talking about the 3:45 p.m. kickoff because of the time change in Italy. So I do really like the late games in Italy tomorrow. Roma versus Torino. We're going to talk about that. Como versus Lazio. Like I said today, I do think there's goals there. I think both of those will have some good player props to target as well. No live stream on Friday. I do a show with Flash from BetUS, who was a former Premier League striker for Southampton. We do that for our Dub Club, which you guys can check out if you so happen to like. I also have a Discord as well. And yeah, just follow me on YouTube. I can't tell you guys how much a YouTube subscription means to me. I do put a lot of time and effort into making graphics and doing these shows. And I spend a pretty good chunk of change to bring them to you. So the subscription really does help me out, and always appreciate that. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Burroke77, Instagram at Burroke77 as well.
Thank you, Coach. Tell the listeners about Chiesa di Totti, because it seems like there's a lot going on with Roma right now. I would just let them know.
This is the most depressing time to tune in.
I'm going to say now. Granted, my boy Oaks does come on, and obviously, listen. You heard the man on this show. All the work you put into the graphics is equally the work you put in handicapping, right? You pretty much had something to say about every game we threw at you without even telling you what games we were talking about. But this is the most somber Coach Steve has been in, since we started the show. Like the last 3 to 4 weeks, Coach Steve's just kind of there. We got to get you back, Coach. We can't let Roma break you like this.
Well, anyway, chiesatitotti.com is the blog, all things AS Roma. Very depressing things. But, hey, we might have some big breaking news in the next few days. You never know. And the podcast is across the Romaverse, audio only on all the major pod platforms. Jimmy and I cover it almost every week. This was one of the more depressing episodes, like I said, this week. Kept it short and sweet. Don't think we've ever recorded an episode under 30 minutes before. This one was 28 change, because you can only rant and rave for so long before people start to tune you out. So,
hey, man, you took a lot of heat off me for the Madrid stuff.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that. Shout out Roma Misery.
All right.
But yeah, we thank everybody for tuning in. Oaks, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah,
You're always
dude.
welcome.
Like the man said, hit the subscribe, man.
Appreciate it.
Share.
Always.
Twitter, get
Even
your
if
shit
I'm not
right,
on,
Twitter.
I'm always watching the show, guys. Like, I really do appreciate it and love talking football with you guys.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.